The signal in the void. The year was 2847, and Earth had become a paradise. Wars existed only in history books, poverty was a distant memory, and humanity had turned its collective focus to the arts, philosophy, and the pursuit of knowledge. Cities floated among the clouds, their crystalline spires catching the morning sun as automated systems handled every mundane task that once burdened human existence. At the edge of the solar system, the Galileo Deep Space Monitoring Station drifted silently through the void. Commander Elena Cross sat in her observation chair, watching the endless dance of stars on her view screen. Her job was simple but crucial: monitor deep space for any anomalies that might affect Earth. In 3 years of service, the most exciting thing she'd encountered was a rogue asteroid that passed within 1,000,000 kilometers of Neptune. That changed at 3:47 hours, Earth Standard Time. A soft chime broke the silence. Elena straightened in her chair, her fingers dancing across the holographic interface. The signal was unlike anything she'd seen before, a complex pattern of electromagnetic pulses that repeated with mathematical precision. "Computer, analyze signal pattern," she commanded. "Analysis indicates artificial origin," the AI responded. "Pattern contains prime number sequences and what appears to be coordinate data." Elena's heart raced. First contact. After centuries of searching, humanity was no longer alone. Within hours, Earth's scientific community was in an uproar. The signal was decoded, revealing not just a message, but a desperate plea for help. The translation was rough, but certain words stood out clearly: danger, extinction, please, and giants. Admiral Nathan Brooks stood before the World Council, his weathered face grave. "The signal comes from a species calling themselves the Silvari. They're under attack by something they call the Devourers, a force that consumes entire civilizations." Council leader Maria Santos frowned. "And they're asking for our help. Why? Earth hasn't maintained a military force in centuries." Brooks took a deep breath. "Because they found ancient records. Records of humanity's past. Records of the Colossus program." A shocked silence fell over the chamber. The Colossus program was Earth's darkest secret, a contingency plan created during humanity's final war 5 centuries ago. Genetically engineered super soldiers, each standing over 9 feet tall, with strength, speed, and tactical abilities far beyond normal humans. They were placed in cryogenic suspension after the war, a failsafe against future threats. "We swore never to awaken them," Santos whispered. "We swore to protect humanity," Brooks countered. "And now, perhaps, we have a chance to protect others as well." Deep beneath the Ural Mountains, ancient machinery hummed to life. Frost melted from a massive cryogenic pod as medical systems monitored the vital signs of its occupant. Inside, Commander Victor Rains dreamed of battles long past, of fire and thunder, of sacrifice and victory. The pod hissed open. Victor's eyes snapped wide, his enhanced body tensing as consciousness returned. Even after 5 centuries, his instincts remained sharp. "Commander Rains," a synthetic voice announced. "Emergency awakening protocol initiated. Current date, June 15, 2847. You have been in cryostasis for 523 years. Victor sat up, his massive frame casting shadows in the dim light. "Status report. Earth has received a distress signal from an alien civilization. Admiral Brooks has authorized activation of Titan Squad." Memories flooded back. Titan Squad, the elite unit of the Colossus program. His team, his family. "Begin awakening sequence for all Titan Squad members," Victor ordered, stepping from the pod. His muscles ached, but his mind was clear. The giants were needed once more. One by one, the pods opened. Sarah Kim emerged first, her tactical mind already analyzing the situation despite centuries of sleep. Marcus Wolf followed, the weapons specialist whose steady hands had saved them countless times. Dmitry Volkov, the engineer who could build or destroy anything. And finally, Mira Chen, whose strategic genius had turned impossible odds in their favor time and again. They gathered in the briefing room, their enhanced bodies adjusting rapidly to the awakening. Admiral Brooks appeared via hologram, explaining the situation. "The Silveri are losing," Brooks concluded. "Their homeworld will fall within weeks without intervention." Victor looked at his team. Despite the centuries that had passed, he saw the same determination in their eyes that had carried them through humanity's darkest hours. "What are our resources?" Mira asked. "One ship," Brooks replied. "The Phoenix. Hidden away like you, maintained by automated systems. It's the most advanced warship ever built by human hands." Marcus grinned. "Sounds like old times." "The Council opposes this mission," Brooks warned. "They fear bringing the Devourer's attention to Earth." "Let them debate," Victor said. "We have a job to do." The Phoenix rose from its hidden berth beneath the Pacific Ocean, water cascading from its sleek hull. Unlike the graceful ships of modern Earth, the Phoenix was built for war. 2 kilometers of advanced armor and weaponry, powered by experimental quantum drives. As they prepared for launch, protests erupted across Earth. Some demanded the mission be stopped, fearing the return of humanity's violent past. Others supported helping the Silveri, believing in humanity's duty to protect the innocent. The war giants ignored the controversy. They had answered the call to arms before, and they would answer it again. "All systems nominal," Sarah reported from her station. "Quantum drive ready for jump." Victor took the commander's chair, feeling the familiar hum of power beneath him. "Set course for Silveri space. Maximum speed." The Phoenix leaped forward, leaving Earth behind as it raced toward a war among the stars. In the vast cosmic arena, the giants were awake once more. As they entered hyperspace, a final transmission reached them from the Silveri. The translation was fragmented, but the meaning was clear. Their enemies had reached the homeworld's outer defenses. Time was running out. Victor stood on the bridge, watching the stars streak past. Somewhere out there, an innocent species faced extinction. But they had called for help, and humanity's greatest warriors were coming. The giants were awake, and they would not fail. Giants among stars. The Phoenix carved through hyperspace like a blade through silk, its quantum engines pushing the boundaries of known physics. Inside, Titan Squad trained relentlessly, their enhanced bodies quickly remembering the rhythms of combat that had been frozen for 5 centuries. Victor watched his team in the combat simulator, marveling at how naturally they fell back into their roles. Sarah moved like liquid mercury, her tactical implants processing battlefield data faster than any computer. Marcus handled weapons that didn't exist in their time with intuitive ease, while Dmitri had already improved 3 of the ship's systems. Mira orchestrated their movements like a master conductor, turning 5 individual warriors into a single devastating force. "Contact in 30 seconds, the ship's AI announced. Dropping out of hyperspace, the team assembled on the bridge as reality reasserted itself around them. What they saw made even these hardened warriors pause. A small fleet of ships hung in space, their hulls scarred and battered. They were elegant vessels, with flowing lines that suggested both beauty and function. As the Phoenix approached, one of the ships extended what appeared to be a docking tube. "First contact protocols engaged," Sarah reported. "Their technology is different. Organic mechanical hybrid, from what I can tell." The airlock cycled open, and the Silveri entered. They were unlike anything the humans had imagined. Tall, willowy beings with skin that shifted colors like oil on water. Their large eyes held an intelligence that transcended species, and when they moved, it was with a grace that made them seem to flow rather than walk. The lead Silveri stepped forward, touching a device at its throat. "I am Keeper Aelith," it said, the translator rendering its musical voice into English. We had lost hope. Victor towered over even the tallest Silveri, but he knelt to meet Aelith's eyes. "We receive your call. Tell us about the Devourers." What followed was a tale of horror that spanned decades. The Devourers weren't a species in the traditional sense, but a swarm consciousness, billions of individual units acting as one mind. They consumed everything: resources, technology, culture, life itself. World after world had fallen to their relentless advance. They adapt, Aleph explained, colors of distress rippling across its skin. Every weapon we use, they learn to counter. Every strategy, they predict. We found records of your kind, the giants who once defeated a great darkness. We thought, we hoped. You hoped right, Marcus growled. We've faced extinction before. Mitri was already studying the tactical data. Their adaptation is impressive, but it has limits. They learn from experience, which means we hit them with something they've never seen before. Mira finished, a predatory smile crossing her face. The Phoenix and the Silvari refugee fleet jumped to the Elysia system, the Silvari homeworld. What awaited them was a vision from nightmares. The Devourer swarm filled local space like a dark cloud, countless biomechanical entities moving with terrifying coordination. At the center of the swarm, Elysia burned. My God, Sarah whispered. There must be millions of them. Tactical analysis, Victor ordered, his voice steady despite the odds. The swarm operates on a distributed intelligence network, Mira reported. Multiple command nodes coordinate the smaller units. If we can disrupt those nodes, the swarm loses cohesion. Victor finished. Sarah, can you identify the command nodes? Sarah's implants glowed as she processed the data. Got them. 7 primary nodes, each protected by dense formations of combat units. 7 targets, Marcus grinned, checking his weapons. I like those odds. The Phoenix plunged into battle, its weapons carving paths through the swarm. The Devourers responded instantly, countless units converging on this new threat. But they had never encountered anything like the human warship or its crew. Titan squad deployed in specialized combat frames, powered armor that amplified their already superhuman abilities. Each member targeted a command node, moving through space with impossible grace and devastating power. Victor watched his team work, pride swelling in his chest. Sarah danced through enemy formations, her tactical awareness keeping her one step ahead of every attack. Marcus's weapons never missed, each shot finding critical weaknesses in the Devourer units. Dmitri used the enemy's own technology against them, turning their adaptations into vulnerabilities. And Mira coordinated it all, her strategic genius ensuring that every move had maximum impact. But the Devourers were learning. As each command node fell, the swarm's tactics evolved. Units began combining into larger, more dangerous forms. Energy weapons that had been effective moments before suddenly faced adapted defenses. They're compensating faster than predicted, Mira warned. We need a new approach. Victor made a decision that would change the course of the battle. Mitri, can you interface with their network? It's alien technology. But yes, I think so. Why? Because we're going to teach them something they can't adapt to: chaos. What followed was a masterpiece of psychological warfare. Dmitri infiltrated the Devourer network, not to destroy it, but to feed it contradictory data. The swarm, built on perfect logical adaptation, couldn't process the deliberate irrationality. Units began acting erratically, their coordinated movements dissolving into confusion. In that moment of chaos, Titan squad struck. The remaining command nodes fell in rapid succession, and the swarm began to fragment. But their victory came at a cost. The Devourers' death throes were violent and unpredictable. As the team regrouped on the Phoenix, they realized the true scale of their challenge. This was just one battle in a much larger war. The Devourers had consumed dozens of civilizations, and Earth had sent only 5 warriors to stop them. But as Victor looked at his team, battered but unbroken, he knew they had something the Devourers couldn't adapt to: the indomitable human spirit. Signal Earth, he ordered. Tell them we need reinforcements. And tell them, he paused, looking at the silvery ships now moving to secure their homeworld. Tell them the giants have made some new friends. The battle for Elysia was won, but the war for the galaxy had just begun. And humanity's greatest warriors were ready to show the cosmos why they were called giants. Legacy of Thunder. The reinforcements from Earth arrived like angels of vengeance. 12 more Colossus-class warriors and 3 advanced warships. The Council, witnessing Titan Squad's success at Elysia, had finally understood the stakes. Humanity could no longer hide in its peaceful corner of the galaxy, while others faced extinction. Victor stood on the bridge of the Phoenix, now flagship of the combined human-Silvery fleet. The Devourers had regrouped around their mothership, a moon-sized construct that served as both factory and brain for the swarm. Intelligence suggested this was their primary node for the entire galactic sector. If we take out the mothership, Mirat explained to the assembled commanders, we cripple their operations in this part of the galaxy, but it won't be easy. The holographic display showed the mothership's defenses, layer upon layer of adaptive shielding, weapon systems that could tear apart planets, and a swarm numbering in the billions. We need a new strategy, Sarah added, something they haven't encountered before. Keeper Aeleth stepped forward, its skin displaying patterns of determination. The Silvari have something to offer. Our archives contain knowledge of an ancient weapon, a resonance device that disrupts biological-mechanical interfaces. Dimitri's eyes lit up. If we could amplify that technology, integrate it with our quantum systems, we could create a pulse that separates the biological from the mechanical components. Victor finished. The swarm would literally tear itself apart. The plan was audacious, bordering on impossible. They would need to get close enough to the mothership to deploy the weapon, fighting through the densest concentration of Devourer forces ever recorded. But it was their best chance. As the fleet prepared for the assault, Victor gathered Titan Squad in their ready room. These warriors, who had fought together through humanity's darkest hours, knew that not all of them might return from this mission. Whatever happens, Victor said, it's been an honor. Sarah smiled, her tactical implants glowing softly. Save the speeches, Commander. We've got a galaxy to save. The battle began with the fury of a supernova. The combined fleet punched through the outer defenses, weapons blazing trails of destruction through the swarm. The newly arrived Colossus warriors proved their worth, their enhanced abilities turning the tide in countless small engagements. But the Devourers adapted quickly. For every tactic the humans employed, the swarm developed a counter. Ships fell, warriors died, and still the mothership loomed ahead, seemingly invulnerable. We're not going to make it through their defenses, Marcus reported, his weapons running hot from continuous fire. Not at this rate. Victor made the hardest decision of his long career. Phoenix will run interference. The rest of the fleet delivers the weapon. His team understood immediately. It was a suicide run. Been a while since we did one of those, Mitri said with a grim smile. The Phoenix broke formation, drawing the attention of the swarm's heaviest units. The warship danced through space, its weapons creating a spectacular light show of destruction. Behind them, the rest of the fleet pushed forward with the resonance weapon. Inside the Phoenix, systems failed one by one as the ship took tremendous damage. But Titan Squad fought on, their enhanced bodies operating at the peak of human potential. Weapon is in range, came the report from the fleet. But the mothership's core is shielded. We need an opening. Victor looked at his team one last time. They nodded, understanding passing between them without words. Phoenix to fleet. Victor transmitted. We'll give you your opening. Make it count. The Phoenix accelerated to impossible speeds, its damaged engines pushed beyond all limits. The warship became a missile, aimed directly at the mothership's core. In those final moments, as the Phoenix pierced the mothership's outer shell, Victor Reigns thought not of death, but of legacy. Humanity had hidden from the cosmos for too long, afraid of its own potential for destruction. But destruction could also mean salvation. The Phoenix detonated its quantum core just as the resonance weapon fired. The effect was catastrophic. The resonance pulse, amplified by the quantum explosion, swept through the mothership and the surrounding swarm. Biological components separated from mechanical ones in a chain reaction that spread at the speed of light. The devourer swarm that had consumed civilizations and threatened the galaxy came apart in a display of ethereal beauty. Billions of units dissolved into their component parts, the distributed intelligence fragmenting into nothingness. When the light faded, the mothership was gone. In its place, a field of debris stretched for thousands of kilometers. And somewhere in that field, the remnants of the Phoenix drifted silently. The victory came at a tremendous cost. Titan Squad, humanity's greatest warriors, had made the ultimate sacrifice. But their actions had saved not just the Silveri, but countless other civilizations that would have fallen to the Devourers. In the aftermath, something remarkable happened. The Silveri, grateful for humanity's intervention, proposed an alliance. Other species, learning of the battle, came forward. They had hidden from the Devourers for generations, but humanity's courage inspired them to stand together. The Galactic Defense Initiative was born. A coalition of species united in protecting the innocent and exploring the cosmos together. Earth, once isolated in its peace, became a beacon of hope and strength. A memorial was built on Earth's moon, visible from the planet below. 5 statues stood eternal vigil. The members of Titan Squad, giants who had awakened to answer a call for help and changed the galaxy forever. Years later, Admiral Sarah Martinez, promoted after the battle, stood before a new generation of recruits. Behind her, the memorial gleamed in the earthlight. They were called giants, she told the assembly, not because of their size or strength, but because of their spirit. They showed us that humanity's greatest power isn't in our weapons or our technology, but in our willingness to stand for others, even at the cost of everything. She turned to face the memorial. The giants may sleep again, but their legacy lives on. In each of you, in all of us. We are humanity, and when the cosmos calls for help, we answer. In the vast expanse of space, new threats would emerge. New challenges would arise. But the galaxy now knew that somewhere among the stars, giants stood ready. And when darkness threatened, thunder would answer. The war giants had awakened, fought, and sacrificed. But in doing so, they had awakened something far greater, humanity's destiny among the stars.